Hey guys, Tom itself here. I want to explain why you haven't been seeing as much Call of Duty commentary from me recently, and one of the problems that Call of Duty, especially the last several years, has been having, and that is this whole fragmentation of the community with the map packs. And it's getting bad. It's almost like part of the Call of Duty cycle. You know, people talk about everybody's really excited the game comes out, everybody plays the heck out of it for a couple weeks, and then people start going back to the old games, and that's the Call of Duty cycle. Well, at this point, it seems like somewhere around DLC 2, 3, or 4, this happens, and the community becomes so fragmented around these different map packs that actually getting into a game becomes difficult. At this point, I'm spending more time in matchmaking and lobbies and all that stuff than I am actually in-game. It's really annoying, and obviously if you're not getting into the game that you want to play, sure, I enjoy hanging out in the lobby and chatting with friends, but if we can't get a game, why would I keep coming back to play some more? You know, it also means that people don't get replaced, and so we end up with even more forfeit wins than we had been. We'll get an entire other party in to play against us. They're super excited. This could be fun. And yeah, we only get to play half a game. So I averaged, so I got an hour and 15 minutes of footage last Sunday, and it covered 11 games. That's an average of less than 7 minutes a game. It's silly. And I'm pretty sure that when I'm regularly noticing my screen darken at 10 minutes with the Xbox, that I'm spending more time in the lobbies and matchmaking than I am actually in the games, you know, shooting guns, killing dudes, and having fun. And sure, at that point, why would you keep coming back to Call of Duty almost every day of the week to play more when it just means actually sitting around and waiting for a game? And now this is the internet we're talking about. It's like black magic, no one understands it. So a technical problem could be the source of most of my issues. I have no way to rule that out, really, shall I say. But all NAT types are open, and eventually I do get a game. It's not like I can't connect to anybody, as best I can tell, or anyone else in my party that I'm playing with. So, what am I going to say? But in the end, it means that if I'm playing less, it means that I'm just less interested in making videos for the game. So that's why you've been seeing less from me. It's not because I'm just not interested, it's because, well, I'm playing less, and that means I'm less interested. Anyway, what I guess this commentary is about is what could Treyarch and Infinity Ward as well, because they're going to have the same problem with Ghosts, try to do to address this issue. It's just incredibly important that matchmaking can get you a good game quickly. I mean, it's the gateway to pretty much all of your other multiplayer experiences on a title like Call of Duty. Now, the thing is, Call of Duty has this huge advantage compared to most other games, in that there are thousands and thousands of people almost always playing this game. It's amazing. So you would think that of all the games out there, all the multiplayer games with just random matchmaking, Call of Duty would just simply have so many people that they would be able to just somehow get you a decent game. And yet, I think with all this fragmentation between the map packs and the playlists, they managed to make it so that they don't have enough people in a lot of those playlists anymore to where you can easily get a game. And it just, if you can't get a game easily, well, the game is suddenly a lot less appealing. But Call of Duty's matchmaking isn't perfect. I mean, how many times have you ended up in a game, a 12-player game, with 3 teams of 4, so it just sits there and says, waiting for more players to balance teams? It's like, no, that's wrong. And it's kind of like, I don't know, playing chicken, and one of the teams has to leave before the game will finally start 4-on-4. That's the kind of goofy stuff Call of Duty still does, and there's no sign of it ever getting fixed at this rate. I don't want to harp on it anymore, because I pretty much beat it to death almost 2 years ago now, but the reason Battlefield 3 didn't do better, in my opinion, and why you don't see me playing more of it, is because it had terrible matchmaking. Alright, that's how important it is. It can make or break games. So let's talk numbers. By my count, there are 27 different playlists between the core, hardcore, league, combat training, party games, and DLC. What you don't see are the sub-playlists for the different combinations of DLC that you could have. You could have no DLC, you could have only the first, you could have all of the DLC. For each of those, they have a separate playlist so that, you know, if you're in the playlist, you won't come up against a map that you don't have. World at War was really bad about that, and it would try to load you into a game on a map you didn't have and then immediately kick you. That was That was simply goofy, and, well, I guess this is better, but it's not. They need to do something about it. So how many different possible playlists are we talking about with those sub-playlists? Well, we're going to have 4 DLCs. So that would give you 5 different possible combinations of DLC, from no DLC to 3 or all 4. Now, 5 different DLC playlists for each of the 27 main playlists, be 135 sub-playlists. That's a lot. But wait, you could buy the DLC out of order. If you only want the second one, or only the third one, or the first and the third one, that's possible. If you consider all 16 possibilities, you're up to 432 possible playlists. And obviously, all of these are not going to, you're not going to be able to get a game in them, just because they will be underpopulated, especially in the smaller playlists. Now, I'd say that Treyarch understands this based on what they did with the Nuketown 2025 DLC. Now, it never really had a price, but they just gave it away, and now it is required for you to have it in order to go into matchmaking. So yeah, they're trying to prevent this fragmentation by going so far as to just completely give that map away to everyone. Normally they charge for remakes, and yet here they are, just, you have to have this now, and it's because they want to prevent that fragmentation. Now, Treyarch has plenty of ways they can go about trying to deal with this. One of the first and most obvious ways is to try and limit the total number of possible game mode and DLC combinations. There are lots of ways to do this. Some of them more complicated than others. Some people will feel bitter about. Can I say, the series really likes to try and include lots of game modes and cater to as many people as they can. Everybody has their favorite game mode. They want to try to include it for you. That's one of the reasons why the series is so popular. At the same time, you're going to go into a game type and, sit there waiting for a game. That's going to get really frustrating, and they might as well have not included the game type if you can't actually get a game this. Another, more complicated way of trying to do this is to make the system more flexible about not forcing you to have the exact same DLC as the people you're trying to match up with. For example, if I say, yeah, sure, fine, match me with people with only DLC 1, if I have 1 and 2, just get me a game faster. It's not set up to do that right now, as best I understand, and changing that kind of thing could really help out. But then you might not end up playing on some of the later DLC maps as often as you might like. And in fact, we had a very, very crude version of this in Modern Warfare 3 with the disabled DLC. But that really seems awkward to me, because if you get everybody in the lobby who actually has all the DLC, but it's then disabled, they won't have the option of playing the later DLC. That, I don't know, again, the system could use a lot of work. But let's get back to the options with limiting game mode and DLC combinations, because honestly I think they're more likely than proficiently overhauling the current system to make it really advanced. So let me pull up the population numbers for Xbox 360 that I collected today. So just a snapshot, but good enough for our purposes. Almost 249,000 online multiplayer. Does not include zombies. I couldn't figure out what more than a third of them were doing. 94,000. I don't know. They just weren't in anything else. People that I could account for, core accounted for about 60%, 87,000 or so. Hardcore, another 35,000, about a quarter. League play, very respectable, 11,000, 7.5% or so. And then combat trading, party games, and DLC go way down from there. There are a dozen main playlists in core, and it is dominated by Team Deathmatch, about 35%, Search and Destroy, 20%, Domination, 16%, and it dives down from there. Demo at 7%. This afternoon it was about 6,000. Kill Confirm, Free For All, Ground War, Hardpoint, CTF, Headquarters, Multi-Team, and Mercenary Mosh Pit all go way down from there. Mercenary Mosh Pit, less than 1,000 people on. Wow. But let's say last Sunday when I was playing in the afternoon, there were about 7,000 people in demo, and I was still having problems getting a game. But if we're looking for playlists with even more players, well, there are a few out there. You've got Team Deathmatch Hardcore, Domination Hardcore, What else we got? Oh, league play. The Champions League, actually 9,000 people that afternoon. That's pretty good. Now, there's still some other respectable numbers there. All the hardcore game modes are fairly well off. Search and Destroy and Kill confirmed. The other two hardcore game modes are doing fairly well. Party games, well, they're party games. I don't know. They're they're not that popular. And because the DLC has been out for a while, that is pretty much dead. Again, Team Deathmatch is just really popular. But if you're trying to get anything else, less than 1,000 players the afternoon I went to check on. So, there's so many different playlists, and again, each of those numbers is divided into all the possible map packs. So, you go into search, and you're not actually searching against that many other players. So how does Treyarch limit the total number of playlists, and especially for some of these small things, actually make them playable for most people again? Because that's what part of the reason why they die is because people can't get games in there anymore. So, obvious and easy one, start combining game modes into a single playlist. Yeah, I know it's not Call of Duty's thing, and a lot of people wouldn't find it popular, but at least you'd be able to get a game in some of these. So your CTF, your Hardpoint, Headquarters, yeah, you can't really combine Free For All or Ground War with the 12-player game modes, but for everything else, throw that out there. Why not at least consider it? And Ghost is going to add even more game types, and yeah, this is going to get even messier. Or you can require DLC, or not require it. Any way just to cut down on the possibilities. Require the DLC in order. For example, if you're missing DLC 2, but you have 1 and 3, well, you're only searching for other people with 1. Things like that. Or for some of these lesser used playlists, the not as populated ones, set it to the only two options are all the DLC or none of the DLC. If you only have a little bit of it, well, you're not going to get to play it on that particular game mode, that playlist. Yeah, it's not ideal, but at least it would result in getting games faster if that was just a reliable way to do things. I don't know. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. Are you guys having problems with this too? The people I talk to tell me they're having similar issues, but I'm curious what's going on with you guys. Do you think Treyarch should try and do something fairly aggressive? Some of the recommendations I had could piss some people off, honestly. I understand. Should they try and do stuff like that? I don't know. Anyway, I mean, they could go so far as to start giving away DLC for free. Yeah, everybody would like that, right? Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for sticking around. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found something interesting, and I will see you next time.